What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Ryan Pineda Show, where we talk all things money, real estate, and entrepreneurship. And in today's episode, I'm gonna have a lot of pain because I'm gonna be talking about a deal I lost over $60,000 on. So if you wanna feel my pain, if you wanna shed a tear for me, keep watching. So a lot of gurus and people teaching don't ever want to acknowledge the bad things that happen. I can see why. It sucks talking about your failures. But one of my goals for this channel is to be transparent. Be transparent about the big wins, be transparent about the big losses, and pretty much let the chips fall where they may. This house is not the first time we've ever lost money. In fact, I've lost hundreds of thousands of dollars on bad deals. I've never had one that lost this big, but as I said, it's not my first bad deal. When you buy hundreds of homes, you're bound to lose on some. And this can happen for many reasons. You could predict wrong on your ARV. If you overestimate your ARV and get significantly less, you're probably gonna lose money. You can lose big because of rehab. If your renovation costs are significantly more than what you predicted, you can lose money. You can also lose due to money costs. If you're getting a hard money loan or even a private money loan, and the property takes a really long time to sell, you're accruing interest during that time, and that can definitely make you lose money. If you're really unlucky, like in this case, you can do all three wrong, and then you're pretty much screwed. If you do all three wrong, you're gonna lose a lot of money. Typically on the deals we lose money on, it's usually not ARV. I would say we're pretty much always right on ARV. It's usually renovation and time. Rehab is very easy to go over budget. Crap just happens. When you open up walls, maybe you just bid it wrong. There's a lot of reasons renovation ends up being the thing that kills you. And typically they go hand in hand, because if renovation goes over budget and takes a really long time, it ends up increasing your hold time. And your hold time is interest that you just keep on accruing. So it's not uncommon for those to be together, but maybe it ends up being just hold time. You get the project done really quick and nobody wants to buy it. And that could also be an ARV issue. Maybe you're just overpriced, so it ends up taking way too long to sell. And then those dollars just add up, and you either drop your price to get it sold, or you just wait it out and finally get your price, but by then, it's cost you a lot of money. So usually it's gonna be two factors that make you lose, but if you happen to have all three, you're gonna get hurt really bad. So without further ado, let's go to the computer, analyze this deal, figure out what went wrong, and how you guys can avoid it. All right, so let's go over this deal. Here is the address, 3312 Cape Cod Drive. I never wanna see that address again. Fun fact, I played in the Cape Cod Baseball League, which is a very prestigious league for college baseball players, and it was the best time of my life playing baseball. I shouldn't say the best, but one of the best, and I loved every minute of it. When I flipped houses on Cape Cod, it now has given me a sour taste in my mouth, so you ruined it for me, Cape Cod Mobile Home. Anyways, off topic. We bought this house back in 2018. So one thing to know in 2018 is that Las Vegas had the most appreciation out of any city in the country. So I was routinely buying deals and getting 20,000 over ARV all the time. Like I couldn't believe how quick they were selling, how many offers, how much we were making. Like I was getting deal drunk. So I got into a really bad habit of buying pretty much anything and everything I could. And it served me well. We actually did make millions of dollars in 2018, but towards the end, they ended up raising interest rates and our market got really cold. The market actually really chilled all the way across the country towards the end of 2018. And all those deals that I bought in Q3, Q4 of 2018, I ended up having to pay the piper come 2019 because they didn't sell over the winter. I had a lot of holding costs, didn't get what I thought I was gonna get, was buying way too optimistic, and I paid the piper. I ended up losing on a lot of those deals in 2019. So with this deal in particular, I bought it for $92,000. I estimated a $20,000 renovation. You know, it's 1,000 square foot mobile. I'm thinking that it doesn't need that much. We ended up buying it sight unseen, and we figured we'd sell it for $145. So let's take a look at the deal calculator. At $145, 20K rehab with our cost, we were guessing a 4-month hold. At $92,000 purchase price, we end up making $18,600. In my mind, that was perfectly fine back then. I'm good making $18,000. The market's hot. It might even get more. I might get $25,000. That's honestly how I was thinking. Turns out I was wrong. The market was cooling down by the time I bought this property. Let's go over what this property looked like. Here are some pictures of it. Last video I did of a deal evaluation, I went through the pictures really fast, so I'm gonna try and go through them slower so you guys can see them. So, here's the drop box. I don't really know how to go to the next picture. Not like super, oh, here you go. There's no clicker, you just gotta use the arrows on your keyboard, okay. By the way, guys, I'm like not super tech savvy. Anytime I need people to do stuff, I pay them. Okay, so kitchen's a piece of crap. Room's a piece of crap. Bathroom's not very good. But for us guys, this is what we see every day. We fix and flip homes for a living, so it is what it is. Exterior definitely needs work. Anytime you get these mobile homes with that metal outside, it always sells worse. And I didn't realize this until, now. When I bought this, I just assumed all mobile homes sell pretty similar, but they don't. Year plays a big role, if they're converted plays a big role, and then the exterior, how it looks, plays a big role. We can fix the interior all day to make them all look the same, but you can't change the year built, you can't change how the exterior looks, unless you stucco the outside, which we should have probably did here. That has an expense. Yep. So this is a standard mobile home. We flip a lot of mobile homes. I don't mind them. We've made plenty of money doing it. That AC obviously does not look good. So right out of the gate, we mismanaged our budget. I mean, I'm looking at this now and I'd be budgeting at least $35,000. By the looks of it, I would have stuccoed the outside. The interior is what it is. We're gonna have to change that. That AC looks really bad. We don't even have pictures of the roof, but I'm sure it's bad. Just looking at everything else, you can assume the roof is probably not good either. So we should have budgeted $35,000, $40,000 right from the beginning on this. Let's take a look at what actually happened with it. We fixed it up and we sold it about 2 years later. Almost 2 years later, we finally sold it. It wasn't quite 2 years, but man, it was brutal. But ended up looking nice. If there's any consolation, it ended up looking nice. Okay, so let's take a look at it. It ended up turning out nice, as you can see. That exterior looks much better. I would have taken down this wall. I think this was one of the reasons it took forever to sell. I don't know why we kept this the way it is. Kitchen looks fine. We should have converted this to a 3rd bedroom and we never did it. That is a huge reason this failed because it was only a 2-bedroom. I don't know why nobody changed this to a 3-bedroom, but I don't know. Partially my fault. Well, it is my fault. It's my money, right? We had so many projects going on that I just trust my project managers to do what they're supposed to do. And when they don't, I just didn't hold them accountable. And this was unacceptable, not making this a 3rd bedroom. That killed us. So they screwed up the layout. They did not add a 3rd bedroom. And that is part of the reason it did not sell. Another thing that happened during this, sorry, I'm going through the pictures fast again. I'm so used to being able to just scroll through things really fast and see the condition. I need to slow that down so I don't make these same mistakes and buy these bad properties again. It ends up being way more rehab. In fact, it ended up being $47,000. We fixed it up to the way that you see it, and we went to list it. And the thing was, we had thought that the mobile home was converted. When a mobile home is converted to real property, you can go and get a loan on it. When it's not converted to real property, somebody has to pay cash for it. So obviously, if you have loan buyers, you're gonna have a bigger buyer pool. They're usually gonna pay more. Cash investors want a discount, makes sense. And so we ended up getting a loan offer at $145,000, right where we projected. We got the offer early, and it turns out that it's not converted. Even though the record said it was, I guess a lot of people were converting mobile homes back in the day and not doing it properly. And even though they were getting the certificate saying it's converted, when you actually go to check it, it's not truly converted. I don't know the full conversion process in detail, but I know that they strap it into the ground to make it attached. And I guess those straps and things were never done. They filed the paperwork saying as if it was done, but it really wasn't. So we ended up losing that buyer because they couldn't get a loan on it. And we ended up paying to convert it after the fact, but that buyer had already moved on. They were on to a new house. And that was the first time in my life I had ever encountered a property being fake converted. So that sucked. And by the time we listed it again, once it was finally converted, it was just crickets. We just could not sell it. Nobody wanted it. And this property was on the market for over a year. We did multiple price drops, and then the market heated up again, and we ended up raising the price to only have to drop it again. It finally sold this year in 2020. We bought this in 2018. As I said before, we put about $47,000 into it. Ended up selling it for $125,000. So we were off by 20 grand on the sale price. We were off on the rehab by 27 grand. So that's 47 grand we're already off in the hole, okay? If you remember, our estimated profit was 18 grand. So right there, when you're working on those margins and you're $47,000 wrong, you're gonna lose. That's about 30,000 right there that we were wrong. We did not mention time. Time is where we really got killed. We got a hard money loan on this at 3 points and 12%, and those 3 points kept getting renewed every 6 months. I don't have that deal anymore. You know, that was a deal I was doing 2 years ago just to do more volume. I don't pay anyone anywhere close to that anymore, but I was then, and I had to keep that loan until I sold it. And so I ended up paying over $30,000 in money cost on this little rink-a-dink mobile home because it took so long to sell, because I had to pay so many extension fees. And between those two things, being wrong on ARV, being extremely wrong on rehab, being really long on hold time, I lost over $60,000. One thing I'll add to this, guys, is that my lender knows what happened. You can see from this text right here, we're talking about it. I told him, dude, we lost 60 grand, just so you know. Some people might say, oh man, the lender will not want to invest with you again. And that might be true if you were doing a 50-50 profit split or something like that. And if you lost money for them, they're gonna be pretty pissed. But in this situation, my lender made over $30,000 knowing that I lost 60,000. And what does that do for a lender? It gives them way more trust in you as a borrower because they know that when things hit the fan, you're still gonna pay. A lot of people might just choose to let it go into foreclosure, let the lender deal with the BS. But if they see that you're going to pay, even when things are really bad, they know they can trust you for the long haul. And he actually sent this text message chain to his partner to show him, look, this guy is rock solid and we need to continue to give him more money. And for me, my reputation's worth more to me than anything. I don't want to owe anybody any money. I want all my lenders and investors to be made whole. And it's easy to do that when things are good and everyone's making money, but true character comes out when things are bad. It sucks, it's definitely humbling, but there's a lot to learn from it. Number one, the thing I learned was I should have checked that bedroom issue right away. I allowed it to remain a 2-bedroom because I just was like, somebody will buy it. This market's hot. We'll do it. If I would have just closed that off and made a 3-bedroom right from the beginning, I guarantee we would have had a way better result. By not doing that, I pretty much cost myself $30,000, I would guess. Because our 145 comp had 3 bedrooms and was converted. We were only 2 bedrooms, not converted. So you see why we didn't hit our comp. Second thing I learned was you can lose big on a cheap deal. In my mind, I'm thinking, hey, expensive properties, you can lose big. There's no doubt about it. It's easy for a $1 million property to sell for 900. And that's a huge gap that could cost you a lot of money. But I'm thinking with a mobile home, I should be safe. It's very hard to be that wrong on ARV. When you're wrong on ARV, hold time, and rehab, yeah, you can lose big, obviously. Third thing I learned was mobile homes aren't always converted when they say they're converted. So I would have a property inspector check to make sure that the conversion is legit before you ever buy a home you think is converted. All the paperwork said it was legit, the county assessor said it was legit, but it was not legit. And that error caused us to lose a lot of money because if we would have just had that one buyer right from the beginning, we would have got a better ARV and we wouldn't have had all that hold time. So even though we went over budget on rehab, we could have still really limited the losses if they would have bought. So that's how I lost 60K. I'm definitely not proud about it, but that is what happens sometimes when you're flipping houses. Any investment, it doesn't matter whether it's stocks, real estate, or even investing in your business or yourself, there's always risk. If you're trying to live life risk-free, good luck, it ain't gonna happen. And when you're doing a large volume of homes, it's bound to happen. We've flipped hundreds of homes and we've lost on many other deals. Now, thankfully, we've won way more than we've lost, so it ends up being okay. And when you average it out over a full year, it doesn't really hurt us. But the risk is always there on any investment. And it's tough for me to talk about it. I know a lot of gurus and people selling education and courses only want to talk about the wins and the good things. It's much easier to sell when you're only talking about the good stuff. And it's much easier to only talk about the good stuff. It's not easy to make this video right now, but I think there's a lot of lessons to be learned from this. So I hope by making this video, it brings you guys value, it brings some transparency to the flipping world, and that you guys don't make the same mistakes I did. Hopefully I made this mistake and it helps many other people out, because I know I'm learning from it. But if you got value out of this video, do me a big favor, guys. Go hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. If you hit that little bell notification, you'll get notified every time I release a new video. Hopefully the next video is on a deal we made money on, but it could be another one we lost money on, who knows. And as always, follow me on all my socials. I'd love to interact with you. And until next time, take care.